FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz, and it's time for another Triple Lutz Report. This is episode 418. And by the way, the date is July 19th, 2017. Who'd have believed it? Well, before we move on, should probably talk a little bit about the bullion price. What are gold and silver selling for at this particular moment in time? Well, gold right now is right at the 1242 and change rate, down 20 cents today. Silver, 1630, up 4 cents. A week or two ago, silver was below, well, just a few days ago, silver was below $16. Gold was getting close to that 1200 level. Something happened and it turned around, and that 1250 is going to turn out to be a very significant, crucial number. As Andy Hoffman said today, gold is trading over its 50-day moving average yet again, and expect more of the same. So, oh, by the way, I'd love to get your emails. I've been answering them as quickly as I possibly can. Sometimes I get back right away. Sometimes it'll take me a few days, but email me either way to kl@kerrylutz.com. That's kl@kerrylutz.com. And so gold, it's going to take care of itself. Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, you know that tonight we are having our roundtable. Seabridge Gold will be there with us. Campbell McCrary, good friend from OM Partners, who's sponsoring this whole thing. And of course, John Rubino from dollarcollapse.com. So basically, just send me an email, kl@kerrylutz.com, and I will send you a link to the webinar. Interesting things going on. So right now, it appears that healthcare reform is dead. The Republicans can't get their act together. They're the party of stupid, circular firing squad, blah, blah, blah. I think this is subterfuge. I think it's noise. I think that what they're going to come up with is so bad and so substandard that they're starting to set the expectations lower and lower. They're going to have to do something with healthcare because it is going to be an existential event for many of these Republicans who were elected promising to get rid of Obamacare. Do politicians lie? Yes. Are they controlled by the Chamber of Commerce, by the establishment, by lobbyists from mega corporations, both here and abroad? Yes. But in the final analysis, they have to get reelected. That's why they exist ahead of everything else. And it's better to screw over a sponsor, a lobbyist, a contributor than it is to get bounced out of your seat. Now, the Democrats ignored this advice and passed Obamacare, and as a result, lost tons of seats both locally, and they lost control of the Senate and the House. The Republicans, while perhaps detached, are not as detached from reality as the Republicans, at least not apparently so. We're going to find out soon enough, though. They're going to have to pass tax reform. Tax reform is probably, to many of you, a bigger issue than Obamacare, or is at least as big an issue. If you have a business and you're being taxed at your individual rate, which if you make enough is going to be 39% when you throw in the ridiculous healthcare costs, that's just at the federal level, then you care about this because they're threatening to cut the tax rate for LLCs, S-corps, and partnerships to as little as 15%, but I'll settle for 20%. And this would be a phenomenal boom. I mean, you will save enough to buy 10 Obamacare policies over your lifetime. They're going to have to come up with fixes for this stuff. If they don't, they're going to be in trouble. There will be a third party. I don't think the Democrats are necessarily in a position to capitalize upon the Republicans' failures, but this is what we're going to be seeing, this chaos, this stupidity. Look, when the future of the Republican Party depends upon John McCain's brain, you know this is a party in crisis. They have got problems coming out the wazoo. Hey, did you happen to see that Comrade DeBlasio, he's that moron who runs New York City, totally stupid person. Cop gets shot in New York, assassinated, killed by some maniac. All right. Who knows if there's anyone behind it or not. I'm not saying that there was. I'm just saying that that clearly there's a real war against the police. And what does he do? Rather than staying in town to try to manage things, he gets a free ride to the G20 summit so he can go protest Trump. I mean, this guy has not a brain in his head, but it just shows you how hard it is to get good help. And, look, ZipRecruiter is the place to go when you're looking to hire. Do you know where to post your job to find the best candidates? I mean, it is so tough. Before I found Melissa, I went through 5 people. And if ZipRecruiter was around, I would have just put it up on ZipRecruiter, and your job can post to 100 plus job sites with just one click. And then their powerful technology efficiently matches the right people to your jobs better than anyone else can do it. And that's why ZipRecruiter is different. Unlike other job sites, ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. And in fact, over 80% of the jobs posted on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate, believe this, in just 24 hours or less. There's no juggling emails, calls to your office. You simply screen, rate, and manage candidates all in one place with ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use dashboard. Man, when I used to hire, I would have stacks of resumes all over the place with notes, and sometimes I'd misplace the resume from the best candidate that I had. Hey, ZipRecruiter totally puts an end to that. So look, find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by businesses of all shapes and sizes to find the most qualified candidates with immediate results. And right now, you, my fine audience, the FSN community, you can post jobs on ZipRecruiter for free. Yep, that's right, for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter, ZipRecruiter.com/Lutz. Get started now. One more time, try it free. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/Lutz, ZipRecruiter.com/Lutz, and hey, let me know how it works out. So getting back here, this DeBlasio guy is just unbelievable. In New York, they're having the summer from hell. Penn Station, due to years of abject neglect, because you have governments running railroads. Governments can't run governments, let alone railroads, but they run New Jersey Transit, Amtrak, whatever you want to call them. And they hadn't fixed up the switching system. They're having derailments like daily almost there. Well, not daily, that's hyperbole, but they're having them weekly. Just had one a few days ago. So finally they say we got to shut down half the place and replace the track and upgrade the place because we just haven't done it. And this is what government does. They don't invest for the future. They only react to current circumstances. So they got half the tracks closed, and people, it's already a disgusting place. There was a big Penn Station. They knocked it down in the 60s to build Madison Square Garden. And then they were going to take the old post office and expand Penn Station into there, which was a pretty brilliant idea for what's really a lousy situation there, because Penn Station now is pretty much one floor above ground level and like 3 floors below. And it's disgusting. It's crowded. It's hot. It's a filthy, horrid experience that you wouldn't wish upon your worst enemy. And now it's even worse. And what else is happening? New York City is having subway outages because they haven't invested in new switching technology. These switches, they're the ones that move the track from one side to the other so the train can be routed. It's all fiber optic now. It's all high tech. And we're using a system in New York City that's some of it's like 80, 90 years old. I mean, who is running the show here? So they got the guy who ran against DeBlasio for mayor, whose name escapes me, but don't worry about it. Nobody else knew his name either. Nobody voted for the guy. But they've got him. He was once in charge of the MTA. He was in charge of the New York City Transit Authority. Brilliant manager. Fortunately, thank goodness, they got him to take over. Why he did it is a mystery to me. But I think it's really going to be a great thing. He might be able to turn it around. They're not going to privatize it, which would be the obvious answer. Short of privatizing it, we're just going to have a mess. I mean, the elevated line hasn't been painted in 80 years. Wait till that thing starts collapsing. It's basically a train that goes on a bridge over the street. His name was Loda. Memory serves me correct. Joe Loda. I mean, a brilliant manager. It's so hard to manage anything when it comes down to the subways and New York City's government and because you have all these unions and you've got corruption for construction projects. You've got the Wicks law, which forces them to have a general contractor, and you've got prevailing wage laws. So if the living wage is $22 an hour, that's what they got to pay. They have to hire union people to do the jobs. It's a total freaking mess. It's a nightmare. And one of the reasons why I just don't go there. And Uber helps you avoid all that. That's why Uber is so great. So I don't know if you caught this or not, but Visa is giving up to $500,000 to restaurants that go cashless. So the obviously incentive there is let's get rid of the cash, and they'll use Visa cards for it. And Visa will update their technology to go cashless. It's a good question whether this is legal, whether you can, I guess you can incentivize people not to take cash. But, you know, I think I was in a place recently that didn't take any cash. Couldn't believe it. Obviously, I've got my credit cards, but this isn't necessarily a good thing. This is just another step on the road to it. Speaking of cashless society, so we'll be talking about Bitcoin. Right now, there's a big controversy over Bitcoin scaling because we were talking about it with Andy Hoffman today. One end of the group wants to, they want to basically change the blockchain, split it, and enable it to take a lot more traffic, but then they'll be able to issue more Bitcoins. The other one says, no more Bitcoins. We'll do something to speed up the transactions. They take minutes now. I mean, look, you've got to speed up the transactions on the blockchain. They weren't really designed for all this, although there's a question of whether they're being deliberately throttled back by certain players. Complex situation. Point being, if they split the blockchain, meaning there's a Bitcoin 1.0 and Bitcoin 2.0, it's going to really put a damper on Bitcoin, which right now is trading at about $2,300. When I put out my alert, it was at around $3,000. There's a lot more to play here. Eventually, Bitcoin, in my personal view, will become the cryptocurrency of choice. There's 970 other cryptocurrencies that are actually raising money that people are buying. Of them, perhaps 5 to 10 are legitimate. The rest are what I would call kleptocurrencies. So you better beware of kleptocurrencies because those are just funds. Those are so-called currencies that are just there to steal your money, much like government currency does by inflating itself and diminishing the value of the currency. You know, these are really interesting times. Obviously, we've never been through this before. Nothing we've ever encountered has been the equal of this. I think it's pretty amazing. So you probably heard by now the Supreme Court is allowing Trump to enforce the refugee ban. The judicial insurrection appears to be over. Hey, OJ looks like he just might get out of jail, except he was caught. How do we say this? This is a family show. Pleasuring himself in his cell. I mean, I thought that's why people went to prison, but hey, what do I know? What the heck do I know? The things that happen in this world today, I didn't think could ever possibly occur. And yet, here we are. Everything's happening all together. Hey, is Trump going to be a failure? You could be the judge of that. By all rights, this guy should not be in office, and he will go to war with anyone that stands in his way. He'd like to do it nicely with his party. It doesn't matter. He'll do it however he has to do it. You know, the guy's lived his life. If you want to make an omelet, you got to break some eggs. And those eggs right now are Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell and the GOP establishment, the Beltway Republicans. Hey, I'm a libertarian. I don't like political parties, always hated them. And I think the world would be a better place without them. But right now we got them. Neither of them have any answers. Trump doesn't have the answers. What's he going to do? It's Trump against the world. So keep that in mind. Questions, comments, like I said, kl@kerrylutz.com. Please take a look at our Facebook page, Financial Survival Network, and our Twitter feeds @KerryLutz. Just tweet us there. We love getting your tweets. And that is it for today. Going away for a couple of days. I forgot to tell you, the Sprott Conference in Vancouver. Now, if you haven't been to Vancouver in the summer, all right, it is one of the most beautiful, gorgeous cities in the world. Love the place. Can't get enough of it. I really love Vancouver. And the Sprott Conference is going on there from the 25th of July to the 28th. They've offered me a booth. I don't know if I'm going to bother with it or not, but I highly recommend that you go to the Sprott Conference. If you're going to be there, please say hello to me. I'll be walking around. I'll be doing interviews. I'll maybe even interview you. If you are a member of the FSN community, you get to meet these mining companies. You get to shake the hands of the CEOs, the presidents, the executives, and really see what they're about. Take the measure of the men. It's so important to do it. I've really learned a lot going to these conferences, and I would urge you to do it. Whether you're going to buy mining stocks or not, you really get to meet these people. Rick Rule is going to be there. Marin Katusa, probably Doug Casey will be there. Andy Schechtman from Miles Franklin, he'll be there as well. It's just a wonderful time. They feed you well, and they're just really good people there. Rick Rule, recognized by the Mining Journal as one of the 10 most influential people in mining, and it's going to be at the Fairmont Hotel in Vancouver. Just go over to Natural Resource Symposium and check it out. You're going to have a great time if you go there. Maybe we'll have a drink together. Who knows? Just check it out. It's at naturalresourcesymposium.com. And look, just tell them I sent you, okay? Good deals on it. Very cost effective to go. And there's no place in the world like Vancouver, British Columbia in the summer. So that's it for now. This has been another Triple Lutz Report. Kerry Lutz signing off.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.